What does this guy, this woman, and this fictional character have in common? They have charisma, the ability to command attention and respect from anyone, anywhere. Some people call it aura, except nobody seems to know how to get it. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 7 archetypes of charisma so you can command attention and respect wherever you go. Let's get into it. Have you ever been in class and there's the funny guy, the guy's always cracking jokes, everyone's laughing. You wouldn't really call him charismatic. Meanwhile, if I say to you, who was the charismatic person in your surrounding, in your work, they're not that talkative, that loud, that humorous. There's a little element of mystery that surrounds them. And this is what I call the archetype of the silent and aware. The characteristic of this type of charismatic person is, although they're silent, they are observant. They are very aware of what's going on and their surroundings, and when attention does land on them, they can speak, they can act, they can show their competence in a confident way.
And you find that sort of rootless existence appealing, do you?
Well, yes, ma'am, I do. Got everything I need right here with me. Got air in my lungs and a few blank sheets of paper.
So what you want, if you want to command respect and attention, is not talk so much, not make so many jokes and become super friendly. Be silent but aware. Next, one of the first signs of charisma you will have had, if it's not from your parents, is from your school teacher or master or a university professor. Because not only are they very knowledgeable and intelligent, which matters, they are serious and focused in the way that they act, in the way that they speak. Now, not all intelligent professors are charismatic. So it's not intelligence that's making them charismatic. It's more the obsession, the seriousness, and the focus with which they are going about that craft. Whenever you see someone, not just in academics, but in sports, in music, in any field of life, have that serious focus towards their given craft and it's backed up by some kind of competence, that's when you have charisma. You don't need to say a word. You don't need to pretend anything. If you're just seriously focused and you're good at what you do, that itself is charisma. An example of this might be Michel Foucault in this debate, where he is very, very serious. He's talking about what he really believes in. He looks charismatic. Even Noam Chomsky, where you look at the guy, the way he looks, the way he sits, the way he is, you might not say he's actually charismatic in his appearance, but if you actually listen to the debate, if you're in this field, he looks charismatic because the seriousness and focus he puts into his speech. Which brings us perfectly on to the next one. Now I'm going to give you 2 controversial examples and you'll see how it's not about whether they're a good person or a bad person. It's literally about how passionate and emotional they are when they are speaking. And the 2 guys that I have are Jurgen Klopp, the manager of Liverpool. Anybody that's a football fan would not deny that this guy has charisma. He is emotional, he is passionate about his club and about his football, about his views, and the way that he voices them is just super passionate. Even the football that his teams play, you can say is emotional and full of passion. And the other guy is, of course, Adolf Hitler. Even though you might not understand anything that he's saying, he speaks with such emotion, conviction, and passion. He has commanded the respect and attention of millions of people at the time in his own country.
Wirken wir nicht mit, aber diese ununterbrochene Entrückung lehnen wir ab.
Most people are scared of expressing their emotion or speaking passionately about something because it's just not what you do. If you meet somebody new, you're scared to offend them. You're scared that you might stand on the wrong side of things. So most people have the tendency to play it safe. We're risk averse. Now, if you do the opposite and you're actually passionate and emotional in the way that you speak, in the way that you do something, you signal the reverse, that you are in fact comfortable, that you are in fact unafraid of the judgments of other people. That's where charisma lies, because at the end of it, what charisma really is people look at you and go, wow, I wish I could be more like that. Next. Now, the next archetype of charisma is probably the easiest one you can incorporate into your life, and it will immediately double your charisma, your aura. The way to express it is actually to look at the fastest way to lose aura. And the fastest way to lose charisma is to freak the hell out when something happens. Because what does it signal? You're uncomfortable in your surroundings. You're not confident. You don't have competence to navigate your surroundings with ease. This loses charisma faster than anything. What's the inverse of that? If you are unreactive and relaxed in situations, this is the fastest way and the easiest way to get more charisma. When something happens, just be relaxed. Try to react in a way that's almost slow and control. You know when those bumblebees fly around when you go hiking and everyone's, the fact that you don't freak out when a lot of other people freak out will immediately increase your aura. Now, the guy that embodies this the most is probably Zinedine Zidane. Or for those of you that don't know football, maybe you can think about the Godfather in the movie The Godfather, whether it's Al Pacino or Marlon Brando. Do you ever see them freak out? Maybe he heard about the death of his own son. Is he freaking out and reacting? Not really. Look at Zinedine Zidane. Look at Carlo Ancelotti. They have reactions, but it's controlled. It's contained. It's almost unreactive in proportionate to the situation. And what that shows you, underlying subconscious message, is that these things are usual to me. These things happen all the time. So it immediately makes you look more competent, which gives you more charisma. And the fact that you're not so excited like other people, this gives people a sense of trust in you and a sense of confidence, because when shit hits the fan, you can be trusted to keep your calm and think clear. What does this mean in practical settings? When you go about your life with your friends, when you're on a date with your girlfriend, when you're at work, and something happens, something goes wrong. It starts raining, you don't have an umbrella. The taxi canceled the call last minute. You're gonna be late for this thing. You don't know how to park.
I can't find nowhere to park. You ain't no leader, bro. Why are you expressing to me that you can't find no parking spot?
Just act like you have things under control and try to be a little bit less reactive. Some of this can't be faked. This can only really be built through having actual confidence and actual competence. All of these things, if it looks like you're trying to display these characteristics, you're gonna get found out. You can be like, try to look silent and mysterious. Somebody asks you a question, you freak out. You've given yourself away. So of course it has to be backed up. All of charisma has to be backed up by some kind of genuine real life competence in whatever field. Next, this actually happened to me last month, where I actually had a confrontation with somebody at a pharmacy. I was defending a family member and things were getting heated in a way that it could get physical. You cannot fake this. The heart rate going up, the nervousness going up, the tension that's running through each person's bodies and their eye contact. You cannot fake this. And if you do not have any real life competence in your ability to defend yourself in a given moment, then you're gonna freak out. It's hard to be unreactive, hard to act cool and silent and observant when things are getting heated. This is why one of the most honest signals of genuine real life competence, and therefore what gives you that charisma, is what I call bravery under stress. Bravery under danger. If you can display bravery or courage in a situation that demands it, where there is genuine risk, whether it's physical risk, mental risk, whatever it is, this will immediately give you massive charisma. This is why some great poker players, when they do a crazy bluff, or when they have the ability to withstand that type of risk and make a brave decision, whether it's raising the stakes or calling the bluff, you watch that and you're like, that guy's aura just 10x. Successful risk taking is perhaps a better way to say it. When you display this, you absolutely increase your charisma, your aura. The next archetype of charisma almost goes against everything that we've spoken about. It is what I call the childlike and free archetype. Everybody wants to feel more free from societal expectations, societal rules. When you have this as an adult, and I'm not talking about being an adult and acting like a child, that immediately decreases your aura, but there is a childlikeness, and the person that I will refer to that probably best demonstrates this would be the character Dickie Greenleaf, Jude Law in the movie Talented Mr. Ripley. This person, you could say, is charismatic. He has his passion, his emotions, sure, but there's a certain air of freedom and lack of restraint.
Had no taste. I used to say the cream of America, rich and thick.
He goes after what he wants, almost like a child goes after the thing that he wants. And there's a force behind it. There's a force of desire. There's a force of innocence. And when you can embody this childlike enthusiasm and the freedom from societal expectations, and you can do that as an adult, this can also be charismatic. In what ways could you embody this in your real life? Think of it as a silly side of you that is honest. When you express the silly side of you in an honest way, this can be charismatic. But of course you got to be careful, because this can just fall into the jokey, funny guy. Next, think about Snape in Harry Potter. His whole look, his eyes, his voice, all of that embodies a certain kind of character, a certain kind of darkness, a certain kind of confidence, a certain kind of fear that goes along to the people around him. This is how charisma is portrayed. It's not always spoken. In fact, it's rarely spoken on its own. It has to be embodied with the right facial expressions, with the right body language, with the right movements in your body. And when all of this comes together and it is embodied inside of your body, that's truly what makes somebody charismatic. If you can combine these and not just have one but multiple traits, then boom, it multiplies your aura, your charisma, and that's how you become more charismatic. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next week.